Hey Connor, you talked to me the other day about how some complaints, about some complaints in your family, how you're not very happy there. From what I'm told, it seems like your parents are very controlling, not letting you do what you want and all that. I kind of feel you. You're sort of like a young adult, which is I can't say for good measure what that would be, but in my opinion, that would be 18 to 27 years of age. You're like 21 from what I've heard. Um, well, first of all, it seems like you're getting from the way you put it, a lot of unsolicited help from your parents, namely your mom, to do your business writing homework. It seems like that's been sort of an issue for you. She's always like, offering to check over your work. I'm not even sure if that's allowed because in my university, like they actually they actually say that's not allowed. But maybe in other universities it doesn't matter. So notwithstanding that, and also like maybe she also checks your resumes. I've heard you've recently graduated. Congratulations, man. I think you have, yeah, this is your last semester and all that. And from what I'm told, you just want some freedom. And you're like, what you're asking yourself, you're telling me, like, you're asking what is wrong with you? Why can't you get your act together when other people can? And let me just start by saying, first of all, congratulations. The fact that you have the courage to open up and tell a close friend of yours like me is really something that is a big first step. And I commend you for that. So thank you for having the courage to tell me. Um, you're not at any point a burden, and like feel free to bring all your complaints to me. Like I'm your listener. I have a lot of free time on my hands, so I'm ready for this kind of stuff. Um, to start off from what I've been told, like I've actually like seen you in my like classes and all that. Um, yeah, it seems like the business writing is a real struggle for you, honestly. And what from what I'm seeing, like you're getting a lot of like C's and D's. Like I think two of your memos were sort of like you got the lowest score in the class. And from what I've seen, you've gotten a D, like because like I think from what you've told me in your major, you have two business writing courses, Connor, where you have to write emails and memos in a business style format. And you told me that you got a D the first time you took the first business course, and then you passed with the C plus the second time around. And this time the course you're currently taking, you got a D the first time, and you're doing it a second time. Um, from what I'm trying to see, like, your mom's really just helping you. I know it may not seem like it, and it can be annoying when people give unsolicited advice, but in truth, she just cares for you, man. This is why a lot of strangers, when they see you struggling, like this is unfortunately a sad truth of reality. Most strangers who see you struggling will just shrug their shoulders and just walk by you. Um, if you, in case if you don't believe me, go look out on the streets, all those panhandlers. I try to donate like $2 to $6 whenever I see one because like you never know someone's full story, but most people just assume they're on drugs or something like that, or that like, they're just going to use it for alcohol, but that's not the case. But that's getting a little beyond the scope. My point is, like, although this is a sad truth, most people who are strangers to you will not help you when they see you struggling. It's not because they're mean, but because they have their own things, right? We're all fighting our own battles. So, like, she's just trying to help. It's not like she didn't give you any chances to do anything on your own. Like, she clearly gave you chances. It's like it seems like you failed the first time you took a business writing course, and then the second time you passed, and now you failed this business course again, and you're taking it again. Like that's that's actually double the tuition money when you think about it. And each course is expensive. Like I remember when I took a business course, I it costed about $800 on average. So like I mean, to fail two business courses, that's $1,600 down the tubes. If you gotten like A's and B's and such, then I don't think she would help you, because this is actually very like harming for a parent, to always hold a child's hand. You're not a child, you're like 21, so like hold their it for lack of a better word, child, yeah, their hand, and then just walk them all the way, because at some point you have to do it yourself. But from what I'm hearing, it seems like she's giving you a chance to do it yourself, but you're not being able to do it. Don't feel any shame, because it's better that you're getting assistance rather than you doing it on your own and then failing again. Which brings me to my other point about, your resumes. It from what it seemed like, you told me it's currently July 12th right now today, and you started applying in April, which is pretty nice considering most students don't apply for jobs until after they graduate. Some, from what I'm told, even go on breaks, like some going on like a 6-month holiday after they graduate. So you're well ahead of the curve here, my friend. Um, but like you started applying in April, and like for 3 months you haven't been getting any interviews, any phone calls or interviews. So that tells me that something's wrong with the way you're applying to jobs. Because if you're applying to jobs if you have been applying for 3 months and you haven't gotten a single positive response, or all the responses you've gotten are like thank you but no thanks, then that means there's something wrong with either your resume or how you're like presenting yourself. So your mom offering help um could be very well be the thing that's right, and you're kind of defensive saying like no, 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 this is I'm doing perfectly fine. Well, the evidence states otherwise. Like I know you don't like opinions, but how do you feel about facts? The thing is, it's like you might think you have everything in order, but an extra pair of hands, an extra set, like feels it's better. It's like having an extra set of eyes to see your work. She will definitely be able to catch things that you can't see. You know, I actually wish my mother, helped me with my resume. I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. I had to teach myself the proper formats, the sort of many things. Like, did you know that it actually took me a month and a half before I realized that like my resume was actually missing my proper graduation date? That was embarrassing as hell. When I found out, I went like, oh. So what I would suggest to you is, sit down, and you probably maybe like missed a tiny detail. It's like the analogy is like showing up to a banquet with a stain on your shirt. You might not know it until all the way until the banquet's over, when you see it and you go, whoa, I've been wearing that the whole time. I know the feeling. It's kind of embarrassing. But you, Connor, are actually blessed. I mean, you have a degree in accounting. That's like really hard to get into. And from what I'm told, you're doing a CPA afterwards. That's really impressive, man. Um, but like you're actually blessed. One, for getting into university, because statistics show only 7% of people, like, yeah, 7% get into university. Secondly, to get into accounting and then to do a CPA, you're only 21, man. Like, I'm impressed. Congratulations. I wish I was that ambitious. Um, but you're also blessed to have a mom who is willing to help you. Like, unsolicited help. Like, I think you should, be a little nicer to her, because she actually, probably had that fear like Connor's gonna like, really hate me for offering unsolicited advice. It probably took courage for her to come in and intervene. Um, and like also, you're, yeah, you're like, there are people whose moms don't even care about them. Maybe either they're drug addicts or they're working 16, 17-hour weeks. I had a friend named John whose like father delivered newspapers and never made any time for him. And there was this one, if you watched my video, a previous video, it was called Why I No Longer Care for Fame. You know that guy who spent $200,000 on his acting career and then all he got out of it was a silly rope trick? His dad didn't care about him either. He didn't, it's not that his dad didn't like magic, it's that he just never really cared what his son's career path was. And now his son is 36 years old. His wife has divorced him because she doesn't want anything to do with him because he's unable to make a living. Because he just bounces around from hotel to hotel because he can't even afford a one-bedroom apartment. And he's 36. His daughter, they want nothing to do with him. And he still hasn't found the right way to live life, sort of. Um, imagine if someone told him he could have saved $200,000 on his acting career that never went off, or at the very least, have learned how to spend that money wisely. I guarantee you, he probably could have spent $30,000 and reached the same outcome. He had no one who cared for him. Imagine that, and he's 36 years old. You're 21 years old, and like, here's a sort of analogy. All plants that grow, some are grown like this, and some are grown slanted like this. If no one helps shift this slanted plant like this, then it's going to grow on like this forever, always at a tangent, while the proper plant goes like this. And we want you to be that proper plant, Connor, that goes up like this. So at the end, my conclusion is I congratulate you for what you've done and what you're doing. I congratulate for you for telling me, appreciate your mom, and just know that we want the best for you. No one's here to harm you. Thank you very much for listening.